that position overall right now?
We definitely need to build some depth in that room. We got guys coming back off some injuries that'll help us. I think it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for us to see what these young kids can do. We got some young wideouts that are very talented and explosive, and they're going to get a chance. If they prove it in practice, they can do it in games. So they're going to get a chance early to show what they can do.
In your experience coaching this offense, how steep is the learning curve for a true freshman, even if they arrive in January?
It's steep, but by no stretch of the imagination would we be that hard-headed. If that was going to be detrimental to a kid being able to go out there and function and be able to play with, with his speed, then we would definitely scale back anything we had to. We're not an organization that's going to say this is what we do. You got to figure it out. We're going to maximize the athletic traits of our kids and let them play freely.
How do you see guys move forward today after Saturday's scrimmage? And how has this team been at that about taking the teaching from even if it wasn't your best day moving on?
So far they've been great. All adversities that's come our way as a team and as an offense. These kids are unbelievable. They're unbelievable workers. I think they trust what our process that Coach Rule's process. I think they trust what we're doing, how we do it. So they bounced back today and they were ready to go.
Did you have any? What would you say your main concern was coming out of Saturday?
Just the operation. The operation. We got in the stadium. Those young kids got in the stadium for the first time. Just get in the stadium, a play clock, real officials, getting plays on and off the field, get personnel groupings on and off the field. At times early on, we struggled with that in the scrimmage, but they calmed down and they kept chopping away. I told them, it's easy just to kind of lock up right there and not be able to perform, but they got better as the scrimmage went on and made some plays later.
What did you see from Sims? How would you evaluate his performance?
Steady. Was it his best day? It wasn't his best day, but it was far from his worst day. And the way Jeff does it, just goes about each day and just wakes up, has a strategy, attacks it, and gets better. Tries to get better every single day. So he came back, yesterday. He got in the film room, had good meetings. He's becoming such a leader on our offense, just from not just do what he does, but just a vocal leader as well. So come out today, had a attack today. So he's in a good spot.
Coach, could a guy like Thomas Finoni maybe have his role expanded more instead of just an inline tight end, but just after Xavier leaves? He's a big body out there. He's athletic. Is his role maybe expanding to more like a receiver position?
Yeah, and everybody's role. Coach challenged us this weekend. Don't just. We said when we got here, it's a positionless offense. So, just because you have running back or tight end beside your name, that doesn't mean you can't play other spots on the field. So, like I said earlier, we're not going to come in here and just say, well, the tight ends play in line and we're going to have two really good players standing on the sideline and not playing. We're going to adjust the offense however we need to maximize the talent level we have on offense.
I know you don't have an answer to this question as it relates to the waiver, but if Rick Gilbert isn't in, how much does that change your offense to the positive?
For the positive, he's a special talent, but all we can do is just get the guys ready that we know are going to be there, and he's unbelievable. Comes in every day, tries to learn, practices hard, and he brings his positive to the offense as well.
How would you size up Chubba and Heinrich and how they've done and where that competition's at, I guess?
It's cool with them. Our quarterback room's really, the meetings and stuff have been great. They compete every single day. Each one of them have different skill sets and different traits that they bring to the table. So, you can game plan things and you can have plays ready for them to be able to attack a defense, maximizing what they do and what they do best. So we're not ready to really name a number two guy right now, but we feel that both of them could go into a game and help us win.
Maybe is it fair? Do you need a specific number two, or the way you're explaining it, could you have like sort of a code?
Yeah, I'm not ready to say co or anything like that, but I'm pleased with their development thus far and where they are in the offense.
Who among those freshman receivers do you feel like is sort of tackling the learning curve and is on the right side of it?
We're pleased with all of them because they're freshmen. First of all, this is a whole new ball game. They think that they've been playing football for the last couple of years, and then they get here and it's a total different animal. So they're all we're very pleased with all of them. But you look at like Jalen Lloyd and Doss. Those guys have made some plays and been able to go out there and function and from a physical standpoint and an athletic standpoint, make some plays and own their own. The running back room? Pleased with it. Hard runners, again, just kind of like the backup quarterbacks. Those guys can do a little bit of everything. You got a guy that can run option routes, get the ball on the perimeter, breakaway speeds. You got guys that will run through your face. You got some guys that are shifty within the line of scrimmage, can run through arm tackles. So we have 3 or 4 guys that are playing really well right now. And very pleased with the room.
You mentioned Jaden Doss. Was he a guy when you first got here you're pretty excited about his skill set? You always talk about a positionless offense, and that's sort of what he did in high school.
Yeah, I mean, just his physical, his physical traits, athletic traits, speed, and everything. His power, it gives him a chance to do some things early on.
Marcus, what have you seen from the line and your backs in terms of like defensive recognition? Because Tony White's defense obviously does a lot of different things for you. What have you seen from them in terms of growth and communicating and what they're seeing?
I mean, it's literally like trying to solve a puzzle every snap. I mean, there's different things coming at him. I think Coach Raiola does an unbelievable job of preparation, for practices, just for walkthroughs, just to make sure that we don't have a lot of unblocked players running through the line of scrimmage. So I'm really pleased, especially coming out of the scrimmage with our pass protection up front. I think they did a really nice job of sorting that stuff out. It's not easy, but it's a credit to their hard work. I mean, they're having to do a lot of extra work just to make sure that they can identify where everybody is on that defense.
Hey Marcus, you guys, Garrett over there has had a lot more to him in his first year as a full-time assistant. Experience, injuries, unexpected things like Xavier. How have you seen him be resilient, and what have you seen from him handling everything that he's faced?
I mean, he doesn't flinch. He's like, everybody that Coach Rule puts in the staff, like, we're not going to flinch. We're just going to say what's next and move on. All we can control is what we can control. So, we just woke up the next morning, went to work, found our guys, started, coach them and develop them. And I think Garrett's done a really nice job of doing that. It hasn't changed anything that we do day to day and how we coach these guys.
How much forward do you feel like you need to do situationally, like third down and red zone? How much have you guys done so far, and how much further do you have to
Coach Rule's a master at that. Like, he's really, really, really good at just, he'll throw the ball down just at any moment in practice and yell out a situation. So I think that, I'm never going to say we're so, I don't want to jinx ourselves saying, oh, we're way ahead or anything, but we've done a ton of situational work, and I feel good where we are. And, we've got a couple weeks here before we get going for real to even improve on what we've got done thus far. But Coach Rule does a really nice job of preparing us for every situation known to man.
How far from the time that you maybe started kind of developing this group of guys in the spring till now, where have you guys come the furthest?
I think just a brotherhood and a camaraderie on offense. I think there's a lot of trust with our offensive line. I think there's a lot of trust that's developing with Jeff. I think Jeff's developing a lot of trust with certain players on the team that he can trust to get open at certain times of the game. So I think just the brotherhood and the camaraderie is just you see it growing every day, and the guys are making an attempt to make it grow. It's not they're not fighting it. They're out there trying to learn other people's names, learn things about families. Like Coach Rule in team meeting stuff at night challenges them. Learn to talk to other people. Don't just sit with the same people all the time. So just the brotherhood, I think, is improving daily.
How does it turn in Minnesota? Is that after this week you kind of start to begin to think about attacking their defense instead of your own?
I swear I'm not trying to be the coach talk, but literally I'm trying to get to the meeting. What's next? Watch the film, correct the issues, and then when Coach Rule opens the door and says, "Hey, let's start on 8:31," then we'll start on 8:31. But till now, we're just working on improving ourselves as coaches and as players.
Anything else? There's still a lot of playing time decisions you feel like that are still left to be made with this group. Like, I think we all kind of know Jeff's going to be the starter. Are there a lot of decisions still to be made among the offensive players?
I think the running backs are competing every day, the wideouts are competing every day, the tight ends are competing every day. I think there's a healthy competition amongst our offense that's going to allow us to iron sharpen iron, get better every single day. So we're not ready to sit here and give you a final depth chart, but there's still a lot of competition out there for some spots. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
morning. How you doing? Good. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Garrett, with obviously Xavier gone and then Marcus out, just what does the big picture of that receiver room look like for you, and who are some other guys that might get some opportunities as you try to kind of develop that open rotation?
Yes, sir. I'm excited because of the amount of reps we're getting. We're splitting 2 fields. Coach Roll's done an amazing job with the practice schedule. So you're seeing some young guys really develop. The early ones are Jalen Lloyd, Malachi Coleman, Jaden Doss, Bryce, and Jeremiah. They're having a really good camp. And then we're kind of seeing Alex Bullock burst onto the scene a little bit, Ty Hahn, IGC, Billy Kemp, Josh Fleeks. The guys in that room are RDV guys and guys we want to go win with.
How have you seen Josh get up to speed since he was late coming to camp?
We're moving him around because he's so dynamic with the football. So the mental's kind of a little bit more, but he's attacking it. He's obviously a great competitor. That's one thing that you can always say about Josh. And he's doing a great job. He's having a good camp. He's made a few plays that you're like, whoa, so.
Did Xavier's situation take you by surprise? What was your reaction? Did you see it coming?
Not really. I love Xavier. Once you're a part of our family, you're a part of my family for life. He's got my number. If he ever needs anything, he can reach out to me. With all due respect, though, I kind of want to talk about the guys in that room right now. I think they deserve that with all the work they're putting in right now.
Hey, Garrett, how essential has Billy Kemp been for that group and just what he's added with the intangibles, the experience, and everything that it brings for you?
It's easy to talk about the on-the-field stuff, but it's more impressive when you talk about the off-the-field stuff. You're talking about a guy that's in his 6th year. He's caught about 182 balls in college, and you talk about just his pre-practice habits, how much he's in there in the training room, how he fuels his body, right? He's gained about 17 pounds since he got here in December, which is just a testament to, hey, I want to change my body and be a bigger football player. And so once the young guys can see how he works off the field, I think that's the biggest part about BK.
How much does he impact others on the team at that position and even other positions on the offense?
On Saturday, I'm like, hey, guys are looking around for you to go make a play. And so we're kind of challenging him to be that kind of catalyst in that room because he can. He can change a football game. And just his natural competitiveness and edge is what makes him so special, in my opinion.
How do you kind of know that a young guy's got a chance to help you right away? When does it kind of click for you as a coach that this guy can kind of do it for you?
Watching him move around, but then the guys that don't flinch, because right now you got to imagine they're 18 years old, their head is spinning, they're still trying to find out where to go to the training table at, and they also got to learn football. So it's a lot, but those guys that don't flinch and just kind of attack it head on, and you see the talent that they show, which got him here.
And, when would you like to get Marcus Washington back in going? Kind of what's his realistic timeline to start getting some reps?
I don't know his realistic timeline. You probably have to ask Coach. I know that when he's ready to go, he's gonna pick up right where he left off in that Iowa game, and he's ready. He's gonna. It'll be a big factor this year.
Even though he can't necessarily get on the field right now, how have you seen him kind of help the other guys, the young ones, off the field, whether that's in the meeting rooms or when you're just going over playbooks and stuff?
Marcus is probably one of the best teammates in that room. He wants to be a leader. He wants to be a model to those young guys for what to do and what not to do. Obviously, a guy that has been through 2 programs, 5th year. He's seen a lot. But you watch him out there. He's coaching. He's right next to me. He's in my hip pocket. Wants to know every play. Wants to be around the guys. Wants to be around the 11-on-11. Like he can't stand going to the pit and all that. So he's fighting to get out of the pit. But Marcus is such a good teammate. He's such a good leader.
Garrett, how'd you feel your group performed in the scrimmage on Saturday?
Besides probably the pre-snap procedures, you kind of saw some warts in the offense. Just the first time all being together. But when it comes to the competitiveness The toughness on the perimeter, I think we got better there. Catching the football, we got better there. We're improving in that aspect. So I'm pleased. We talk about getting one better and getting one better in preparation for 8:31. And I think we did on Saturday, and shoot, we did today.
You've got a lot of young guys, and you kind of already mentioned them being thrown into the fire. From a learning perspective, how have you seen that?
Oh, I mean, it's this offense, it could be a lot at first. Especially when you're coming in the summer and you're kind of getting a little overwhelmed just from, being a college athlete, and being a student and an athlete. But the guys, they're taking it head on. We're still pumping in volume and volume, and they're attacking it. That's one thing about those guys is their work ethic on and off the field is very, very impressive.
It wasn't that long ago you were in those shoes, right? What was the biggest challenge for you? So where does your empathy go most?
Oh, it's just the verbiage. Right, everyone runs the same plays. Like you watch Jaden Doss, he's running a pass concept, and we get in the film room, and I'm like, hey, you ran that in high school, didn't you? And he's like, yes. And I was like, well, yeah, that's why it looks different. I was like, what'd you call it in high school? Okay, then just use that. It's just the verbiage because we all run the same plays, right? And in our world, it's players, not plays.
What about run blocking? Is that something that the younger guys have kind of had to adjust to too?
Well, that's trying to be our brand of football. We talk about being RDV, relentless, disciplined, and violent, and we want to be violent on the perimeter, and we want to be violent when we catch the football. But the first one is violent on the perimeter, and so they saw those older guys. They saw Ty Hahn, Alex Bullock, Marcus, Billy. They saw them on the perimeter kind of stick their face in it, and, it kind of showed them, hey, this is how we do things.
Garrett, Coach Rule mentioned at the beginning of camp, he was just talking about how hard everybody on staff has worked, and he singled you out, said you haven't taken any time off all through the offseason. I don't know if that's, an exaggeration or if it's accurate, but what has this whole grind been like for you up through the offseason and through camp? Like, I mean, are you giving yourself, like, how do you prevent, like, burning out?
I don't treat this as work. I see Dr. Elza back there. Every day I show up to work, I don't view it as work. I get to work with Marcus Satterfield, Coach Rule, Coach Donnie, Coach Martin. I see Dr. Elza, who I've known since I was a very, very little kid. And so I don't view it as work. It's the most fun I've ever had in my life, especially just being around the people here. It's just such a special staff to me.
Speaking of Coach Martin, what have you seen from him since he was promoted into his career?
Yes, ma'am. He's a ball coach. He didn't skip a beat. He's a ball coach, and the thing about him is he was kind of plug in and play, and he's working his tail off. And those guys have responded to him, and they're building a culture in that room.
How similar are you guys, though? Both sons of legendary kind of Texas high school football coaches. You guys have a lot in common when you talk about life.
Oh my gosh, yes. We grew up ball boys. We grew up under the coach's desk. His family was here this past weekend, and they're some of the greatest people in the world. And so, we've become very, very good friends since being here.
You said Bullock's going to come out of nowhere. What's he showing you since you've been here to kind of get that position?
Coming out of nowhere, probably not the right thing to say. He showed up every day. Showing up every day, and he's busted his tail. He's just consistent. Obviously very disciplined, and he plays with the style of football that we want to play. He caught a backside dig in the scrimmage. Goes up over the middle, plays with length, and that's what we want to play with.
You guys seem a little bit more refreshed today, coming back and being at home a couple days, getting to sleep in their own beds.
Right, yeah. The day off, always usually scares you as a coach, right? Because guys tend to kind of relax a little bit. But the challenge for them in this week is, even though they're at home, their preparation still has to stay the same. They got to go to bed at the same hour. They need to make sure they're still getting up at the same hour. Because obviously, when you're at home, it's a lot more comfortable, kind of getting a little 30 minutes extra sleep in the morning. But the challenge is, hey, go home and get back up here, get in the tubs, and recover.
Week 3 of fall camp, you kind of have to keep the energy up a little bit more than maybe what you were a couple weeks ago.
I don't know. The guys, and I keep saying our staff, we have so much fun here, and the guys make it fun, and we got some natural competitors. I'll tell you what, that quarterback room, they have some juice. Coach Sad obviously has an unbelievable amount of energy. They kind of they can ramp up a practice pretty quick.
Around 8:31, what do you want to get done before Minnesota as a group collectively?
I'm sorry, excuse me.
What do you want to get done before August 31st? What do you think you got to progress?
Honestly, if we get one better up until 8:31, I think we have 10 or 11 practices left. Then we'll be right where we want to be. And then throughout the season, this isn't a sport that you can maintain. We want to get one better on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so that Saturday it has the same intensity as a Tuesday practice for us.
Back to his question, where does your energy come from?
Spark. No, seriously. It goes back to, I'm so excited once my feet hit the floor to come up here and be around this staff, be around Ty Hahn, be around Alex Bullock, Billy Kemp, Josh Fleeks, and pour into them and them pour into me. They make me a better coach and make me a better person.
Anything else?
All righty. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Thanks for coming up, Jeff. We appreciate it.
All right, questions for Jeff? Hey, Jeff, when the news that Xavier had left the team, how did you take that? How did the offense take that, John?
There's not really much. We didn't like it, but we got to respect his decision and hope that he made the best decision for himself. And, we all love Xavier, and we're going to continue to love him. So we just got to respect his decision and hope he succeeds.
How you go back and watch film of that scrimmage? What's your evaluation of the offense?
I just felt like it was a little sluggish, like operation-wise. I just feel like we didn't come out on the right energy. But, defense had a good day. They brought the right energy. And, we made some good plays and we had some bad plays, and we just got to learn from it.
How do you see, Coach Rowland and Coach Satt today talk about procedural stuff, getting lined up, pre-snap, movement, play clock, the officials. How did you see that improve as the scrimmage went along, and what do you still have to do?
It definitely got better because we realized that it wasn't going how we wanted. So we kind of fixed it, and then today we worked on it a lot. Getting different situations, getting different operations going, and just going out there and working on it and working at it.
When there isn't a sense of urgency on offense, what role do you take with your teammates to get them going?
I just gather them up and just kind of let the guys tell the guys to get loose. Whenever there's not a sense of urgency in offense, it's really because everybody's tense and thinking about other stuff. And I just tell them, loosen up. We're playing football. You know what I'm saying? You got to have fun while you're playing football. We've been doing it since we was little kids.
Jeff, Coach Rowland said a couple of freshmen need to probably step up at that receiver spot when you get to the season. How would you say that's going? What's your sort of stock report about where that's at right now?
Yeah, those guys are super talented. They definitely can make plays with the ball in their hands. They're explosive. They're fast, and they've definitely noticed that they're going to be a bigger role than they expected. So just knowing that they have to do that, just taking it into preparation, and just gaining an edge every day and getting better every day.
Coach Satt mentioned a couple guys, but Jaden Doss was one of them. What have you seen out of him kind of come along this camp?
Yeah, he's definitely he's one of the guys that's very explosive. He can be special with the ball in his hand. So we just got to get him going and just make sure that we keep him in the right mindset, and just keep him going.
What's the value Billy Kemp has, not just what he can do on the field, but as a teacher for those guys? Do you see that?
Yeah, most definitely. Billy definitely taking on the leadership role in that room, him and Marcus. And just from their experience, they can teach those guys a lot. Just not even about football, but how to do things the right way.
Jeff, there's not a ton of size, I guess, with the receivers. So I'm kind of thinking, is Thomas Fedoni somebody that you could look to as kind of like that big target? Maybe is his role expanding? Is he playing more receiver, or just what has Thomas shown you recently?
Yeah, Thomas, he's been phenomenal. You know, just going out there working every day. He asks us a lot of questions, so he always trying to get better and make sure he knows what he's doing. And he's going to have an explosive year. Thomas he's one of the main targets in the offense, both the tight ends, all the tight ends actually, and just going to spread it around.
Is he going to be like somebody that moves from inline tight end to off line to slot to X receiver?
Yeah, most definitely. He can do anything. You know, he can be outside, he can be in the slot, he can be on the line. Thomas is just one of those players that can do it all and be there when you need him.
Hey, were you familiar with Billy's game before two of you transferred here?
Most definitely. We played against each other when I was at Georgia Tech. He used to kill our defense. So once I committed here and they flew me up here to host him on his visit, I was like, yeah, we got to get him.
The coach said that.
Has he even gone above? Like Coach McGuire was saying that he's gained 15 pounds since he got here. He's a pretty little guy. He put all that muscle on, but like, has he even gone above what you expected? Like you wanted him from the get-go, but has he exceeded your expectations?
Most definitely. Me and Billy, we got an unbelievable connection. Be with him almost every day, even outside the facility. And he's just one of those guys that want to work and want to get better. And we'll be at practice, and I mean, you throw Billy the ball, you put it in his area, he'll get it. So he's just one of those players.
How much further does this offense have to go in the next 2 weeks? And what's the area where you guys need to grow the most?
We just got to keep pushing. We got to keep working. Getting 1% better every day. We just gonna keep stacking and keep getting better.
How does the receiver earn your trust?
Really just by being reliable, showing me that they know what they're doing, and showing me that they'll do whatever they can do to make a play.
Coach said that the defense kind of won the day during the scrimmage. Was there any unit or any player specifically that kind of popped out to you when you were playing?
I would say the defense, like as a whole, they brought the juice Saturday. It was, I mean, from a competitor standpoint, you hate it, but like as a team, you love to see it because the defense, they came out there, they was on fire, they was getting after the ball. They were all over the place. And one player that really stood out to me was the freshman corner, Ethan Nation. Big energy guy. He made it. He made a lot of plays that day.
There's a lot going on with playbook and learning all of that. What's it like the Saturday scrimmage? What's it like to try to get together the playbook and then the defensive process and like one that you don't really prepare for? What's that look like on the season?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's football. Our coaches do a good job of preparing us for any situation in our plays. They teach us the way to read each play for any coverage, and just got to go out there and operate,
Yeah, a lot's been made of being in the dorm, together. I mean, what's the big takeaway?
Yeah, it was cool being in the dorm. Just being with all the guys. It would be some nights we'll come home, hang out in the lounge area, play cards. We learned some magic tricks, you know what I'm saying? We played pranks on the coaches. It was fun. I think it was a good way to build brotherhood and just keep building each other's trust and fighting with each other. And it was definitely something that we needed. Oh yeah, most definitely. We'll be eating out or something, and it'll just be different guys talking to people that they've never talked to before, and just getting to know each other on a different level. So we all got that trust.
Have you allowed yourself to peek ahead and look at any film from Minnesota, or have you not begun that process?
Most definitely, I have. You get all this time to prepare for the first game. I mean, you just got to watch it a little bit. I've watched a couple games, but I haven't really dove deep into it yet. But I've just got a glimpse of them.
Are you a guy that uses visualization and tries to imagine what it's going to the kind of plays you want to make beforehand, or is that something you just adjust on?
I think a little bit of both. So while I'm preparing for a defense, I'll look at the defense and then I'll envision the things I can do on the field, and envision what I'm going to do each play versus different types of defenses, different coverages. And then sometimes, when you get to the game, sometimes they'll change stuff up and then it becomes instinct and reaction. So you just got to go out there and just play football and make plays.
Yeah, you got the single number. How cool was it to be voted on by your teammates?
It was definitely it was cool. I was honored, just to be one of the first guys voted. And I think when you just transfer to a school and your teammates think that highly of you, I mean, it says something about you. And I was just really honored and humbled for it. And I appreciate those guys.
Why do you think that?
Well, I mean, this is what I wore before. I wore it in Little League, so just kind of went back to it.
All good?
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, thanks for coming out, Jeff.
Yep.
Hey, Rob.
How you doing?
Good.
Hello.
Congrats on graduation. What'd that mean to you first off?
It meant a lot. I'm the second person in my family to graduate from college from 4 years, so it means a lot. I had my mom and dad come out, and they got to be with me, which was really important to me. So, yeah, it was a good day overall.
What would you say about how the football part's been tracking for you? How do you feel about where you're at? What do you want to see?
I feel good, but there's constantly things that I feel like I need to improve on, and not just me individually, but us as a team, as an offense. So far throughout fall camp, it's been a grind, but I'm happy with the good things we've done, but it's just a constant, strive to get better every day.
How did the whole whiteout room take Xavier next?
It hurt a little bit. Xavier was our guy. I wish him nothing but the best. It's no lost feelings from any of us to him. As a person, he's a great dude. So, it kind of took us by surprise, but, it's kind of Coach G and Coach Sat, Coach Rule, they talk about, 8:31 comes, we have a game. It doesn't matter, who's out, we have to play. So it's kind of now just got to step it up. A little bit more urgency has been, kicked into the receiver room and the offense has in general. So, we're just trying to keep going and pick up where, the piece that we lost. So.
What position do they have you working at right now?
A little bit of everything. With this offense, Coach G talks about it's a positionless offense. So, I like to make sure I'm learning concepts and learning really what everybody's job is. And so I've been kind of put in different places all over the field.
How is this offense being similar or different to what you've been in the past?
I think it's a lot different. Everybody seems to get involved. There's answers for everyone in the offense, so which I like that a lot because I feel like you can't just as a defense target one person because we have so many weapons. So it's a lot different, but I enjoy it.
Do you feel like one of the old guys in the room? And how big of a responsibility is it to you to bring along some of those guys?
Yeah, that's something I've been working on actually this season. It's kind of been hitting me more and more as we got into fall camp that I am the older guy, and this is going to be my 5th year of college. So it's not something that obviously I'm used to, but it's something that I definitely feel I do need to work on and taking a step and being a leader, in that room. And so I've never really been a super vocal type of leader, but I'm working on, trying to lead by example and bring these young guys under our wings and hold a standard that they can follow.
Any of those young pups kind of impressing you?
Oh yeah, I think all of them are very athletic. I think they all have a really bright future. Some of them are going to help us this year. I think, you just never know what could happen, but they're all really talented, so I'm excited.
How much do you pay attention to a guy like Billy Kemp? He's had such a high volume career and seems like a good teacher of other guys. Do you watch him a lot?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, Billy's a great receiver. He has a lot of experience under his belt coming from Virginia. So, anytime you have a guy like that, you have a lot of respect for him just because he's played a lot of football. So, I think everybody in the room, looks to Billy and, learns a lot from him. And I think it's vice versa. We all learn from each other and, take things from one another. So.
Is Satterfield's offense pretty difficult to learn? Is the playbook pretty big? And I guess put yourself in the shoes of a freshman, and how would that be?
it's hard like any playbook is at first, you know, but I think the biggest thing is just memorizing formations and then learning concepts, because at that point, you know, like I said earlier, it's a positionless offense. That's how we see it as receivers. So once you get to hold the concepts and learn the concepts, it's really not super difficult. But, you know, as a freshman coming in, you know, I think it can be overwhelming at times, but, you know, it's just repetition and practice. You know, you got to be in your book every day, and you got to, you know, put forth the effort to actually want to learn, you know, the offense. So.
Where do you think this offense has come the furthest since you guys got together in the spring and started working on it?
A lot. I think we've made a lot of jumps. It's obviously still things that we're working on every single day, but, you know, from the spring to now, you can see guys, you know, with the playbook kind of just, they're starting to know it like the back of their hand, you know, and guys are starting to get more comfortable with it. So, you know, always room for improvement, like I said, but I think there's been a lot of improvement for sure. Pretty thick, yeah. You know, there's still so much stuff that we haven't even learned yet, so I feel like the playbook is really never ending. It's just you keep learning more and more.
Does it have a number of pages?
Yeah, we've gone through a lot of pages right now so far. So.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Questions for Ty?
Ty, what's it like to be in this position now where you get mentioned quite a bit as a receiver that's going to be needed this fall? You know, coming from where you came from as a walk-on A-man football to now be in the spot.
You know, it's cool. You know, I'm very lucky to be in this position. You know, all I can do is just keep attacking every day and keep working with coaches and teammates and keep getting better. So.
What has Coach McGuire said to you about what your strengths are, how he sees you in the offense, how he believes in you? What's he kind of said about that?
You know, just working wherever they need me. You know, I can be a guy that knows all three positions. Smart football player. Be out there, you know, whenever I'm needed. So.
How much does this guys like you and Alex show up every day? You're there every day.
Mm-hmm.
How big is that just in the grand scheme of things? Just the consistency guys like you and Alex bring to be out there every day, rain or shine.
Yeah, you know, we certainly take pride in being a part of this program, and you know, we try to spread that to other teammates in the room. You know, just bring a lot of energy, bring a lot of juice, and bring some physicality and you know, violence to the receiver room, and you know, just play hard, play fast. So.
How long did it take you in the winter, the spring, to realize that Coach McGuire was somebody that you were going to enjoy playing for?
Not very long. You know, he has a lot of fire. Very easy to play for. You know, brings the energy every single day, and you know, love learning from him, and love coming into the meeting room and getting better each and every day. So.
Is there any aspect of your game where, you know, in the last year or two you can be like, I've really made a big jump in this area?
Just my football intelligence. You know, going from high school and having the past couple years of experience, you know, I've just gotten better at, you know, understanding defenses, reading coverages, and getting better at my route running. So.
Stuff just kind of slowed down for you.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot slower. So.
You mentioned the consistency. How do you think that's helped you like learning the game a little better this past year?
It's certainly helped. You know, just you know, bring consistent effort, and playing hard, learning from other guys in the room. You know, it makes the game a lot easier and a lot simpler. So.
You're working on special teams again.
Yep. Absolutely. All of them, really. Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that something that's primarily contributed? I mean, is that something you take quite a bit of pride in?
Oh yeah, I love special teams. You know, I played on all four last year, and I, you know, certainly want to be a part of it this year. And you know, I look forward to learning from Foley and being with the guys out there. So.
What did you think of that scrimmage?
You know, we got some improvements to make on offense. You know, defense really brought it. Learned a lot we got to work on this week, and just a lot of positives and a lot of things to learn from. So.
You walked on, and a lot of people say you're an eight-man guy, you're walk-on, you know, you need to go somewhere else. Did you get any of that?
Yeah, certainly. You know, and that's just part of, you know, you got to believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself, and just continue to attack every day and know that, you know, you're here for a reason, and you know, you're lucky to be here, and just run with it. So.
Did you ever have second thoughts about it?
No, I love being here. I love these guys, the coaches. you know, I'm very lucky to be here, and I just, you know, keep working hard every day.
Were you probably going to go to Wyoming on a scholarship and you didn't come here? Was that kind of your other thought at that time?
Yeah, it was certainly a thought, but you know, Nebraska's the dream, and you know, playing here has always been a dream, and so I, you know, really love it. So.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Alex, what's kind of helped you have such a good camp so far?
You know, just trusting Coach McGuire. You know, coming into the spring, he was teaching us all his techniques and just mastering the playbook. And it was kind of, you know, hard to get onto it really early, but over summer we worked on it. And just being able to trust him throughout the whole summer, work on it, get into his office, get to know the offense better. It just allows you to do your job faster and more free, less thinking. So just knowing the playbook, mastering the technique that he's taught us, it's allowed me to play like faster and not have to worry about things so much.
Coach McGuire, you know, he's mentioned you a couple of times as a guy who's impressed him. Like, what does that mean to you when you have a coach like show that much belief in you?
Yeah, it's huge, especially you know, Coach McGuire. I've never actually told him this, but he's been a big part of my life, not just in college, but he's like one of the people that's believed in me the most throughout my life. So it's given me a lot of confidence to go out there and do what I do, or you know, just try to do what I do. And he allows me to be myself, and the rest of the receivers to be themselves and just go out there and make plays. So it's good.
In high school, we obviously had a great career, but I mean, besides walking out of Nebraska, what were your other options? Do you ever wonder like why you didn't get recruited as much based on some of the things you did back at Rep?
You know, my other options, I had South Dakota State, really. That was it. But, you know, I think it was kind of because of COVID, not being able to go to campuses and the coaches not being able to see us in person as much. But, you know, I try to take that chip on my shoulder because, you know, I felt like I deserved some of the stuff that I didn't get in high school. But, you know, I don't look back on it and sulk or whatever. So I just take it as a chip on my shoulder and moved on. And I've taken that chip here in Nebraska and try to prove myself to those other schools that maybe passed up on me, try to show them, like, you know, you missed out, all that type of stuff. So, yeah.
What did you take away from the Saturday scrimmage? Was there anything that you thought went well or something to work on?
You know, Saturday scrimmage, we have some stuff to work on. The defense, that was like the first time we really went like live against them, and they fly around that defense. It's hard to play against them. But, you know, we just have some stuff to work on, fundamentals. We're working on that today. We're going to get it down. So we just got to do the basic stuff, and we'll be all right. So.
You got to learn in the offense. I mean, how challenging is this offense for a wide receiver to learn?
It's kind of challenging. It's kind of an NFL style offense. You know, a lot of concepts, a lot of formations and terms. But one thing that helped me learn it was the whole coaching staff when they first got here. They started from, you know, ground zero, worked our way up throughout the playbook. So being able to go step by step throughout that playbook helps. The freshmen who came in the summer, it might be a little harder because, you know, they have to jump straight into it, but they're catching on pretty quick. So, you know, they're doing well with it too.
Those guys that came in this summer, I mean, how are they? They just, you know, tread water basically?
You know, no, they're doing well. I think when they first got here in the summer, it was a lot, but it always is a lot when you first get to college. You know, you gotta learn the ropes a little bit. But no, this fall camp they've caught on pretty quickly. They're learning the playbook more and more each day. They're out there competing. They're doing well. So it's good to go to work with them every day.
I'm curious. You've been around some good transfer receivers that have come in the program. Trey Palmer, Torrey. What does Billy Kemp bring? What's different about him and what jumps out?
He's got a fire under him. You know, he's one of the most competitive guys I've been around. He always brings the juice every day, and he has that never back down mentality. He's always, you know, he's chippy too. You know, sometimes he gets into it with the DBs a little bit, doing all that. But, you know, he's a fire for our room. He brings the competitiveness a lot. He doesn't let us, you know, come to practice one day and just not have the juice. So we got to come every day like that with him.
How quickly did you guys know he was a dude?
I think, I mean, when he came in the winter, you know, just doing workouts, you can see the way he moves and all that stuff. how fluid he is, how coordinated he is. So, you know, you could tell. And then once we got spring ball, it was like, oh yeah, we got one with Billy. You know, he's like that. So, yeah.
You mentioned that the coaches started going over the offense. You guys basically like as soon as they got here, what does it mean to you and the rest of the receivers? The coaches are willing to take that time and go over this next step.
I think it shows you how much they care about us. You know, because sometimes the coaches, like, you know, they want to win now. They might try to do that with the older guys or the guys that they think might play, but they've done it with everybody throughout the whole building. You know, even the young guys, they're doing everybody. You know, helping them learn the playbook because Coach Rule and this staff have been big on development. So, you know, getting everybody, not just like the older guys, to learn the playbook, all of it, not even just the playbook, but everything around the program. Yeah, so just getting everybody to know that stuff.
Is there any aspect of your game where if you think back like a year or two, you can be like, wow, I've really improved in this area or really grown?
I think probably I put on about probably like 10, 12 pounds since last season. So I'm bigger, so it helps, you know, when I'm running the ball in the run game too, when I'm blocking. It makes things easier when you're bigger like that, you know, going against these DBs in the Big Ten. They're bigger and I'm stronger, so it's helped a lot. I can tell throughout spring ball and fall camp. You know, it's been good. So.
Do you enjoy the violence that Coach McGuire is preaching, like run block and, you know, getting around formation?
No, yeah, you know, I understand the importance of it, and yeah, I do like it. It's always important because, you know, the QBs, they throw us passes, we catch passes, but to show our appreciation for, you know, the offensive line, the running backs, we also have to do it in the run game to show them our appreciation. You know, we block for them as well, doing all that stuff, and it's just like kind of like a tone setter, you know, against the DBs because, you know, you block them all game and then they might get tired in the fourth quarter, and that's when you hit them deep with something. So it's good.
Are you in the mix as a returner as well? Or
yeah, I've been doing some punt return, kick return right now. It's back there with Billy and Isaiah, so doing some of that. Yeah.
Your brother got a scholarship this year. You guys have talked about like, hey, I'm gonna hopefully join you someday. Just how big would that be?
Yeah.
To get that opportunity like your brother.
You know, yeah, I was super proud of John back in the spring because he's worked his tail off all 4, now about to be 5 years that he's been here, and he deserves it. But yeah, you know, it's kind of like inspired me, and you know, it's kind of like he pushes me because now I feel like I have to, you know, join him too, because like I don't want to let him down. I want to be with him on that, you know. So I'm just working every day. I'm not, you know, not worried about that right now. That's if that time comes, it'll come. But I'm just putting my head down, just doing what I have to do to try to get there. So.
Both you and John made your mark on special teams as well, both in high school and now here at the next level. How helpful do you think that is for the rest of the games to get that special teams energy?
Yeah, no, that's actually a good question because, you know, last year when I first played special teams, it's different from when you're on the sideline and you see the game, but when you're actually playing that special teams, it kind of helps you get an idea of the speed of the game and how fast things actually are. So once you play that special teams, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I get the speed of the game now. So you won't be so shocked if you ever get put in on offense or defense or whatever you play. So, but special teams is also super important, you know. So it's always important. If wherever I can help out, I'll try to. And so it was good to get that experience last year.
Anything else? Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Appreciate it.